talking about now. Okay. All right. Is this thing on? Hopefully it is. Hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you can hear me. If you can, sound off in the comments. Essentially, my reason for live streaming tonight is there's a couple of things I wanted to cover, but to be honest with you, I feel very tired, and I didn't want to do, like, just a video. I didn't feel like it, and also, this will probably give me the opportunity to cover some things I normally cut from a video anyway, so, yeah. What is this madness? I know! I'm live! How long has it been since that's happened? I think I actually looked in my thing, YouTube Studio thing. The last time I was live apparently was August. So apologies for that. The main reason I stopped live streaming very briefly was just because like my internet was really bad. But I've now got an Ethernet cable that runs from my extension directly into my computer. And ever since I've done that, my internet has been a lot more stable. So I'm hoping, if any of you remember previous live streams, we won't have as much of that. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. If we do, then well, there we are. But yo, Tharius, the hype is real. I know, it really is. I'm so excited. And I can't want to do this live stream because I wanted to basically, before we just get into everything, kind of explain that in these next couple of days, I might not be quite as active as I have been these last few, mainly because I've got a lot going on. I've got Telford Comic Con. I'm heading there on Saturday. I was lucky enough to actually receive a press pass thing from Telford Comic Con, which is the first time I've ever had one of those. So that's pretty cool. Then again, I never applied before because I thought, oh, is it a bit wanky? But I was like, you know what, I'll try it. I'll see what happens. And yeah, it worked. Hello, Doctor Who Poo. Hello. Oh, we've got memberships coming in. I forgot about all this. Oh yeah, by the way, if you become a member or subscribe or super chat during the live stream, your name and whatever you're saying will come up on the screen. I forgot that that's a thing that can happen. It's been so long since I did this. Totally abandoned George's stream for yours. Oh no, right now. Oh, whoops. Sorry, George. R.I.P. Whoopsie. Yeah, I didn't actually know who was like us. Yeah, you gotta use it. I jumped the first time. There we go. That's the member sound. I mean, it's wanky, but if it works, it works. Yeah, pretty much. I was like, you know what, I'll try it, and it worked. But yeah, so I'll be at Telford Comic Con, and I've got a couple other things going on, but let me just tell you guys, you've got some great content coming up, so I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, that is loud. Can I turn that down? I guess if I turn down desktop audio, hold on. You can tell I'm out of practice. Okay, my ears. Sorry about that. Right. Yeah, so I've got a few news stories I want to get into, so I'll get right into it. And I also just want to talk about a few things 60th related. I'm just going to get right into it. So, first thing I got to talk about, Russell T Davies shares differences in David Tennant's 2 Doctor Who's. So this was something that I saw from Digital Spy today. So I believe it's part of their Starbreeze premiere coverage, because obviously there was a Q&A section at the end of that with Russell, and obviously all the media outlets were there, including Digital Spy. And they had a really interesting quote that a lot of people have been discussing, speculating about, giving their thoughts on. And I just want to give mine, really. Also, the Teletubbies are here. Say hello to the Teletubbies. Tennant was the 10th and now 14th Doctor. Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies explains the difference between the two versions of the character that David Tennant has played. Tennant was the 10th Time Lord from 2005 to 2010. Yada, yada, yada. We all know that. Speaking to Digital Spy and other media, Davies revealed exactly what the difference is between Tennant's 2 iterations. The key difference, he explained, is that the 14th Doctor is slightly more human than the 10th. Davies said that although Tennant and Tate, who played companion Donna Noble, last appeared in Doctor Who over a decade ago, it was just as easy to write for them again. I didn't even go and watch old episodes on iPlayer because they never quite go, really. Those big characters don't go away from your head. They keep on ticking away. He went on to discuss Doctor Who's lasting impact, not only on viewers, but its cast and crew too. There's an extraordinary thing with Doctor Who, which is with the crew and a lot of the cast, their children watch it. It gets passed down on generations, and I love that, and I think the crew are very much aware that they are part of history, that their kids will be watching, or their kids' kids will be watching. And that creates a really lovely atmosphere on set. And then they basically just go on to talk about who's in it, so Yasmin Finney, Neil Patrick Harris, Miriam Margolyes, Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor, etc., etc., etc. But the main quote that everyone picked up on was this one. So it says that the 14th Doctor is slightly more human than the 10th, which caught a lot of people's attention, myself included, because obviously as active Doctor Who people as we are, we all kind of know that the 10th Doctor is pretty much known as pretty much known as one of the more human versions of the Doctor as is. You know, he was arguably the first to properly fall in love. I mean, sure, you can make an argument for Paul McGann in the TV movie kissing Grace Holloway twice, and I guess you've got the scene as well where Chris Eccleston kisses Rose, but again, that was to do with the time vortex and stuff. He was the first to properly like fall in love, and also he felt more vulnerable than a lot of other incarnations, so people were wondering, how does he differ from the 10th Doctor in that way? How can he be more human than an already pretty human incarnation of the Doctor that was the 10th Doctor? And I think we may have found our answer, because I can't take credit for this. I got to give a shout out to @10tenants on Twitter, not Instagram, wrong one. It's a quote from Doctor Who magazine, which I completely forgot about. It's in the Starbeast section. It was basically in each section of the previews in Doctor Who magazine, they had one small quote from each episode, and this one is, "Doctor, I've got this friend called Donna Noble, and she was my best friend in the whole wide universe. I absolutely love her." Okay, so do I say those things now? So yeah, it's kind of implying that this Doctor is going to be a lot more open to expressing about how they feel about their companions in a more direct manner. I suppose in that Rose example that we mentioned, even then, he was reluctant to fully say the L word. He was fully reluctant to say love. But I suppose, given that time has passed, you know, the Doctor is emotionally matured through 11, 12, 13, etc., now he kind of has hindsight and he can express those feelings more openly. So that's quite interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how they present all of these different aspects of the character, and how David Tennant plays these different aspects of the character while still staying true to his incarnation. I think that's really interesting, and I think it makes, for me personally, I much prefer that aspect to the 14th Doctor, in that if you're going to have Tennant play a new incarnation, have there be some differences. I know some people were like, oh, he should be playing a wholly different incarnation. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that if you're going to get David Tennant back, realistically, you want him back kind of as he was. But a new twist on it and having that like maturity and that age, I think more than justifies the idea to me. So yeah, I can't really complain about that. And I'm going to be interested to see how that factors into these specials. Will he be perhaps less brash or god complexy as the 10th Doctor could sometimes be? I'm going to be interested to see that. To have Terry's flexing X notifications on there. I mean, Doctor Who poop, you probably have a lot more than me on there, I imagine, right? You know? Like, all those memes, people be liking and retweeting those memes. Terry, you should change your name to Craig. Nah, I'm not feeling it. Probably love in a sinister like way, or a BFF way. I think more like a BFF type way, like best friend type way, not in like a romantic way. Sonic screwdriver reveal. Okay, I can show you. Hang on. This is the. I've got both. So I've got the. This is the character online exclusive shiny one. Like that, and then you've got. If I could get it. Oh, I'm stretching. You got this one, which is the standard edition, basically the same thing, just less shiny, and also it doesn't have the changing lights at the bottom, which the other one does. I must say, the design really grew on me over time. I'm glad Shooty is getting his own though, because it is quite like anniversary themed. So I'm kind of glad he's getting his own themed screwdriver. If you have a son called Alfie or Armageddon, maybe. I don't want to be one of those parents though that names their kid after their favorite franchise. You know, like I've seen that meme on Twitter. You know that meme of like, name your kid after your favorite ship. And I don't know what my favorite ship is, to be honest. So I don't know what I'd name my kid after. I'm not really a shipping guy, you know, other than Amazon. Does that count? Any predictions on how 14 will regenerate? You know what? I have no idea. I've seen people speculate it, and obviously I've seen a lot of the rumours with regards to how it's going to end and stuff, and I do not know. And I'm kind of glad I don't know, you know? But next thing I wanted to get into, we officially had the announcement of Nicola Hogan via the Doctor Who social channels. This is the Doctor Who website article. Get a first look at Nicola Hogan as she joins Doctor Who. Bridgerton star Nicola Hogan is set to trade in ballrooms for the TARDIS as she joins the cast of Doctor Who. The Galway-born actress has made a huge impact in film and television, having starred in standout roles such as the hilarious Claire Devlin in award-winning comedy series Derry Girls, which I need to watch, Penelope Featherington in the Regency-era international sensation Bridgerton, and not to forget, one of the Barbies in mega blockbuster Barbie alongside 15th Doctor Ncuti Gatwa. Nicola is now set to make a huge impact when she takes a trip through the TARDIS, through time and space, in this exciting, undisclosed role. Interesting that it's undisclosed. That's interesting to me. I mean, it could just be the fact that we are so far out from Nicola Hogan being in Doctor Who that they're kind of keeping that level of mystery there because they don't want to reveal it. Or they could be calling her they could be saying she's undisclosed because she is a new companion. I've seen a lot of speculation about that. Personally, I'm not sure. Like, I'd like to think that Millie Gibson would do 2 series because I feel like with the reduction to 8 episodes, you kind of want a companion to stay on for longer than just 1 series, personally. But on joining Doctor Who, Nicola Hogan says, "I'm excited to join the Whoniverse under the leadership of the inimitable Russell T Davies. I've been a fan of Ncuti Gatwa for some time, and getting to share the screen with him as the Doctor has been an absolute joy." Showrunner Russell T Davies says, "This has been the most brilliant shoot, with Nicola lighting up the set and bringing joy from Derry via Bridgeton to the TARDIS. It's the trip of a lifetime." So yeah, I assume, because we've seen her filming, I assume she is part of the 2024 Christmas special. I'd guess maybe more of Series 15 beyond that, possibly, which, I mean, could possibly lend credence to the idea of a companion, or maybe at the very least, if Millie's not in the Christmas special but he is in Series 15, she could be a Christmas special companion in much the same way we had Christina D'Souza and Kylie Minogue and all of those types of people. They could do that. I'm interested either way. She seems really nice. There was, actually, let me get it up, a clip of her saying, "Hello, I'm going to be in Doctor Who." Let me find that. I do have most things that I wanted to cover up, but that was the one thing I forgot. There we go. So I'll play this here, and I've turned down the audio now, so it should be a bit quieter. Here we go. Do this.
Hi, I'm Nicola Hogan, and I'm very excited to be joining Doctor Who as a guest star in Ncuti's 2nd season.
That's it. So yeah, interestingly, also she refers to Ncuti's, Series 15, as we all call it, as the 2nd season, because obviously it is, it does make sense. I actually do want to talk about that. You know what? I'm going to talk about that now. But yeah, she seems lovely. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. Obviously, it makes sense that they confirm it. I did see some people kind of being like, "Wow, they're really Hey, Tharis, what do you mean by Starbeast preview?" Oh, we're getting to that. Oh, I won't get copyrighted for that clip. I think I should be fine. Tharis be Rigatchin? Maybe. But why does that surprise you at this point? You know what I'm like. You know? I'll come up with anything. What was I going to say? What were we talking about? Yeah, so a lot of people, there was a controversy surrounding them resetting the numbering to Series 1 and essentially treating the Ncuti Gatwa era as a soft reboot, rather than calling it Series 14, Series 15, etc. Personally, I have to say, I don't really mind that. And the reason I don't was twofold, really. Number one, it's a lot easier to... Oh, there's another member. I wasn't expecting that. And the reason I'm okay with that is, number one, we've got a brand new audience coming in on Disney Plus, is the first thing. So inevitably, Disney aren't going to want Series 14 labelled on their streaming service if they don't have access to Series 1 through 13, which we know for a fact they do not. They do not have access, as far as we are aware, to the first 13 series of The Rival, nor Classic Who, because of, I think HBO has the access to Revived Series Doctor Who and BritBox still retains in most other territories access to classic Doctor Who. Once those contracts end, it might be a different conversation, but for the time being, I can understand Disney not wanting Series 14 on their streaming service, but not any of the others. That would look odd. And as like a viewer, that would probably be confusing as a new viewer. And then also that ties into my second point of it's a lot easier to introduce new people to a show with Series 1 or Season 1, as I think he's calling it, than Series 14 or Series 15. Like, I know we could say, oh, you could just start with this, it'd be fine, but I know in myself, I think for a lot of you, if like, you were told by someone to watch a new show, realistically, you're not going to start watching it with Series 14, right? You're going to start watching it with Series 1. And we gotta remember, Series 1 at this point is like, what, nearly 20 years old? Like, it is getting on in age, and it's still fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I think having a new jumping on point is essential. Obviously, they've tried to do that a number of times. You've had, obviously, the 11th hour, which I think is a pretty good jumping on point, but even then, I think you benefit from knowing the RTD1 era a little bit. So I've always suggested if you start with Series 5, go back and watch the Davis era. Or, there's been like Series 10, but even then you've got things like Johnson's Master coming back at the end. Series 11 was pretty much completely fresh, but a lot of what came after in the Whittaker era was quite boggled down in lore and continuity and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty much a necessity for us to have this new jumping on point. So I don't really mind them resetting it. Sure, in my head, it's going to take some adjusting to go from Series 14 to Season 1. I'll probably still call it Series 14, 15 in titles and things, just so that you guys all know what I'm on about. But I personally don't really mind it for those reasons. I think it's all about just getting the new audience in. And it's not like those other series are going anywhere. They're going to be on Disney Plus alongside, not Disney Plus, sorry, BBC iPlayer, alongside the classic series. So yeah, for my money, I don't really mind it. But that was my little side tangent about the numbering reset. I'm looking forward to the 60th anniversary, can't wait, and I'm going to talk about it at my local library this weekend. Have a good time. Theories, look on Wikipedia, Doctor Who Fun 6 Doctor, click Mel, scroll down, and see the Doctors she meets, and somehow meets the Returns 14th Doctor. I mean, that does kind of make sense, because I think we saw her in the background of, I want to say it was the Disney Plus trailer. They accidentally kept her in. Why not title it like Flux? That was my initial sort of thought, is like, okay, if you're not going to have Series 14, Series 15, do what Flux did and have them be titled. But if they want to call it Season 1, it's no skin off my back. Alonzi thanks. Alonzi, do we know when the Star Beast will be on Disney Plus? That's an interesting thing. I think it was Who Culture recently who did quite a good video on that. We don't know how it's working with all the different time zones, because I saw some people speculating, oh, will places like Japan get it early in order for it to come out on the 25th in Japan, because obviously, for them, they're 9 hours ahead of us, or will it go out after the UK broadcast on the 25th, and then depending on local, times, it might be later. So it will either be the case that some regions will get it before the UK, or every region gets it after the UK. Personally, I can imagine the BBC doing the latter, given how much BBC iPlayer and the BBC in general seem to have been kind of prioritized in a sense, and kind of being made very central to this. Russell is a very big believer in the BBC as an institution, as a broadcaster. I don't see other territories getting it on Disney Plus before the UK does. I think it's more likely we'll get it in the UK 6:30, and then once it airs in the UK, it's dropped on the streaming services, which I know is going to be annoying for some, obviously, people, to avoid spoilers. But I think that's just going to probably be how they do it, because otherwise, I just don't see them letting it be on other services before it's on the BBC. I don't think. Calling it season sounds so American to me. I get that, but then again, I think most shows have adopted the name season now, so even British ones. It doesn't really bother me too much. But yeah. So yeah, we don't fully know, but my guess would be it'll drop in the UK, and then Disney Plus will get it immediately after. With the soft reboot, how do you think it'll be named? I think Classic Who, New Who, Whonovitz Who. My issue with calling it something like the Whoniverse era, or like the something like that, is that the Whoniverse is not just one era of Doctor Who, it's like the whole thing. So classic Doctor Who, revival Doctor Who, and this new era of Doctor Who. So I don't really vibe with the name Whoniverse era personally for that reason. I think New Who's quite funny, but to be honest, I don't look like what it's called. What do you think about Doctor Who coming to Fortnite? It's been speculated for a while, but I never heard anything following up on that. I'm hoping that does happen, because I'll definitely play it on here. Yeah, I saw it got leaked a while ago, but then it's not happened since. I did hear that it was pushed back because they were going to do a collab with Lego first, I think. But I've not seen anything about like a Lego collab for Fortnite either. So maybe that was all BS. I actually know. So yeah, in terms of next up, I think New Who is the way to go personally for me. But yeah, next up, I want to talk about this. So the BBC1 listings for Doctor Who, and specifically the brand new episode, The Star Beast, have gone up. The Doctor and friends travel from the dawn of human history to distant alien worlds, and everywhere they go, they find adventure, terror, fun, chases, joy, and monsters. So this is the new page for the new version of Doctor Who on BBC One, not Doctor Who 2005 to 2022. This is a brand new page, and the only thing on it right now is the Star Beast. Next on is the Star Beast, and it says, "The Doctor is caught in a fight to the death as a spaceship crash lands in London. But as battle wreaks havoc, destiny is converging on the Doctor's old friend Donna." So that's the sort of preview synopsis of the episode, which I think is very, very interesting. Again, in terms of the Star Beast itself, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about my kind of predictions for it. It's hard to predict for it hugely, though, because we kind of know vaguely what it's going to be like, in the sense that we know it's going to follow on from the what's it called? The comic of the Star Beast. It's going to be based on the comic of the Star Beast. I had a little brain fart there. So obviously, in terms of that, we kind of know the general gist of the plot, but I do have some interesting little predictions I want to make, and perhaps we'll do that later in the stream. But yeah, so there was that, and there was also, let me get it up. So there's two things I wanted to talk about. So number one, actually, I want to get this out of the way while you guys are here. If you remember a recent video, I covered potential missing episode news. There was a report in, I believe it was The Observer, I want to say, by someone saying that there were 2 episodes currently being held by private collectors, but they were afraid to release them in fear of legal action, because obviously they worked at the BBC, and the rule then was, if you worked at the BBC, you weren't allowed to take anything, even if it was to be destroyed. However, so yeah, they were basically asking for amnesty from, I think, prosecution. I'm not really a lawyer, I don't know how that stuff works, but a lot of people kind of pointed out issues with this. Main one being, as I said in that video, Johnny Morris said that there already was an amnesty for old film collectors, and the person who was interviewed for the interview, the interview segment, John Franklin, has released a statement saying, "Sadly, this article is a misrepresentation of the conversation between myself and the journalist, and most unhelpful. I've asked for it to be removed. I reiterate, 99% of the conversation with that journalist was orientated to film is fabulous and the issue facing film collectors with vulnerable collection. It is clear that these issues do not appear in the article. What a pity. If I knew it was going to be completely orientated to Doctor Who, about which I know very little, I'd have referred to the journalist. I'd have referred the journalist to Paul Venus, I'm going to say that wrong, as was the case with the journalist from The Independent, who also contacted us for comment. Please do not place any emphasis on the content. The misquotes are glaring. I sincerely hope that this does not affect the film is fabulous initiative, John Franklin." So yeah, it seems like the reporters severely misquoted and misrepresented what was actually said in this section. So it's not looking like there are any other missing episodes that have been found, which is pretty big shame. I was kind of hoping that, given it's the 60th, it'd be awesome if we had a couple more. But it is what it is. Darius, have you seen the screenshots with Tennant and a Genesis Dalek? As in the ones from Children in Need that they've released, or is there more? When are you putting the 14th Doctor's Sonic in the backdrop with the others? I quite like having them close to me, but I probably should put one of them in the background. You are right. We just did the preview, Jay. We did the preview just now. Is it just me in the Disney Plus trailer, and the voiceover says the one who waits? Why does it sound like John Sims? Yeah, that was another thing I was going to talk about. So a lot of people were speculating that John Sims was going to be involved in the Children in Need thing. Obviously, we know now that that wasn't the case. So that video is very out of date in terms of information already. And also, yes, another good thing. Happy birthday to Paul McGann. It's his birthday today, and happy birthday to him. Harry's, why did you just try to do an essay now? Why did you try to do an essay now? Why did you try to do a live stream now? I have an essay due on Thursday. Well, I felt like it. And, but yeah, also there was just a few things I wanted to go over there. So I thought now would be a good time to go over them all. Is this huge news? Yeah, I realised I've been using that caption a lot in thumbnails recently. It's just because of my default, like how leak used to be back in the day. So I've been trying to vary that up a little bit. I'm literally watching while homeless. Well, oh man, that sucks. I really hope for the best for you. Sincerely, I do, Adam. Hope for the best. Can't wait for Children in Need. I really hope the new TARDIS interior is in it, but I doubt it because of just how short it is. Yeah, no, I'm not expecting. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, do you think we'll see the TARDIS in this new Children in Need sketch short thing?" I don't think they will at this point. I think they're saving it for the Star Beast, and even then, I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but I don't think we are going to see the TARDIS until the end of the episode, personally. And I'm going to get into that a little bit. But yeah, the next thing I wanted to cover was this. So, recently, Karen Gillan did her first UK convention in a while. She was at a convention for London Comic Con, which I did consider going to, but honestly, it was just so expensive, and London is so busy, and last time I kind of got trapped there for a bit. Long story. So I decided not to go. But there was a Q&A with Karen Gillan, and there was a Q&A, and she was basically saying how she needed to dye her hair red again, and there will be a reunion between her and an actor we're all fans of. Assemble the Speculation Clown Squad. And then, yeah, you've got a couple of pictures here of Karen Gillan at the panel, which is very cool. And obviously, I believe she actually dyed her hair brunette for another role recently. So this has got a lot of people speculating it's not going to be a Marvel-related thing, because obviously, initially, I kind of like hand-waved it away, because I was like, oh, maybe it's just the Marvel thing, but then I realised, oh shit, Nebula is bold and blue, so it's not going to be that. And a reunion with an actor we all like, I mean, realistically, like, talking about being Ginger, talking to an audience of Doctor Who fans at Comic-Con, you know, it might be one of those two, so I'm wondering if maybe they are doing something. I'm not saying in the 60th, maybe something along the lines of, like, a Tales of the TARDIS. I'd love that. I think that would be sick. Yeah, I'm not really sure what she's referring to here. It could be something completely unrelated to Doctor Who, which I'm kind of more leaning towards, because I don't really know what it would be, other than, like I say, like a Tales of the TARDIS type thing, which would be cool, but I'm not sure why she'd tease it this early. But then again, I suppose you're not really going to tell Karen Gillan off at this point. You know, if you get Karen Gillan to do anything, you're gonna let her say what she wants pretty much, because she's huge now. And I suppose as well, like, I think if they were gonna get Karen back for anything, it probably would be a little 5-minute thing in the vein of Tales of the TARDIS. I think that'd be really cool. And then it would be a case of, do you get Matt Smith back as well, or, you know, Arthur Darvill, or both? Yeah, this was interesting to me. Yeah, there were a lot of people discussing this, and I think Nerd Dan did a video on it. Again, initially I sort of hand-waved it away, but I thought it was interesting enough to talk about. But how we do chat? Theories, please no huge news thumbnail and video after the Star Beast screening, please, you lucky guy. Oh yeah, I probably should say that, shouldn't I? I probably should say that, shouldn't I? Yeah, no. I've kind of been deliberately not talking about it too much, because for obvious reasons, like, I don't want to come across as like bragging, and I don't want them to see this, or like see you know, stuff and be like, oh, you know, he's gonna leak everything. But I might as well talk about it, I guess. I might as well talk about it, I guess. Where is it? Let me find it. I'm just scrolling. That was my scrolling music right there. That's what you just heard. It's very similar to Day of the Doctor, but completely legally distinct. Where is it? Where? I can't find it. That's very annoying. There we go. So, RTS Cymru Wales announced a advanced screening in Cardiff for The Star Beast on the 23rd of November. I think at like 6 p.m, something like that. And there were apparently 40 tickets that went out to the general public. Now all sold out. And I can say, as I've said on Twitter, I might as well say it here, that I was one of the people who got one of those tickets. So I will be seeing The Star Beast 2 days in advance, which is my first time that's ever happened. I'm absolutely buzzing with it. Very, very excited. I'm over the moon. Obviously, yeah, I won't be spoiling anything Star Beast related. Obviously, until the episodes are actually broadcast on the 25th. But you'll be seeing a lot of content from me after the Star Beast airs, because honestly, I'll have had time to think about the Star Beast before the episode even airs. So yeah, you'll be seeing quite a bit from me that day. So if you're wondering, why are Theres' videos so well edited about the Star Beast, despite the fact it's only just come out? This is why. Yeah, it's my first time going to something like this. I can't believe I was one of the people, because I've applied for everything this year, right? I applied for the musical, I applied for the Toshiba award thing, the Toshiba live stream thing, and the Dr. Donathon. Didn't get into any of those three. And I applied for this thinking, oh, it's just going to be another one of these things. And I got an email being like, oh, you've got a ticket. I was like, nah, it's not real. I was like, because I was even worried as well, like, oh, are they going to need me to be like a member of the television society or something? But no, apparently they were open to the general public, so I am going to go. I'm actually, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to like brag or anything or it come across as that, but I am very excited. But yeah, I might as well mention it because it was mentioned in chat there. There we go. I missed the sidecast. I need to bring it back. The problem is, right, I used to put it on my old laptop, and my laptop's been put away, and I've not got really anywhere to balance it, but I might bring it back. Harry's not giving you 60 quid to like the Star Beast. No, I won't be doing any of that. You know, no, my lips will be sealed until the 25th. I could do that though. Imagine I made fake theories and everyone's like, oh my god, they're real. No, I won't be doing that. But no, I won't be doing anything. Because I don't want them to be like, oh, we're not letting him in. Hey Theory, did you hear the rumours that there's a Flux connection? Yes. Yeah, that was from Russell Gibbs himself via, was it SFX or DWM? I think it was both, actually. I've covered that in a previous video, I think. Theory's close-up cam? What, like this? Is this what you want? You want the whole stream like this? Hello? Wait. This feels uncomfortable, and my back hurts now. Wait, what do I say? Wait, what's the line from Blink? Don't turn your back, don't look away, and don't blink. Something like that, there you go. Harry's the equivalent of the back pat in the Doctor Shadow. No, can you imagine, like, the ultimate thing would be, right, if they got me in, like, a new version of Linda, but I just kept leaking all the Doctor's details in universe? That would be, like, the funniest thing they could do. You know, I just keep telling everyone where the TARDIS is. No, I'm not going to be doing anything like that. But yeah, Loki has had such a big positive impact on time travel shows. What do you think it would be cool if some of these influences from Loki came into Doctor Who? Yeah, I mean, I feel like Loki is already pretty highly influenced by Doctor Who itself, right? Like, it feels very Doctor Who inspired. But I actually do quite like the idea of the TVA in general. Like, I like that a lot, and I think if the Time Lords were to be done, I wouldn't mind something like that. You know, if they were going to do the Time Lords again. I mean, I can't give you any hints right now because I haven't seen it yet. I'm still like about 9 days from seeing it. But yeah, Loki season 2 was ever good. It did stall for me a bit in the middle, to be honest, but I will say I really enjoyed the finale, and Loki in general is probably my favourite thing in the MCU for a few years. I haven't really been enjoying a lot of it, I have to say, but Loki really, really worked for me. What else was I going to do? Yeah, wait, how did you pronounce Cymru? That's the real question. I haven't seen the intro yet. That's the thing. I haven't seen it yet. I won't see it until the 23rd. And even then, I won't be saying anything spoilery until the 25th, I'm afraid to say. So I don't want to get into trouble. But yeah. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Yeah, so there was a couple other things I wanted to talk about. That was a bit of a side tangent. Where are we? Oh yeah. So I wanted to talk about this because it's got a lot of people talking. Oh, actually, no. Before I do that, another thing. Guest cast list was also revealed for the Star Beast. Most of these we know, obviously, voices of the Meep, Mary Margolies, Rose Noble, Yasmin Finney, Sean Temple, Carl Collins, BBC reporter Matt Green. So it's that last one that's really cool to me because it means that after long last, we are going to be seeing the return of the BBC News reporters to Doctor Who, you know, which is a kind of a staple of the Russell Games era. You just have these random news reporters popping up. My favourite, obviously, being Trinity Wells, who was the American one, who would say things like, America is in crisis. Dun, 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 dun. But then, obviously, you know, you had the BBC ones as well. Specifically, I remember, I think it was Doomsday, the guy gets converted into a Cyberman. The ghosts, they're metal, like that. So it's cool seeing those come back, and I guess it makes sense as well because in the opening of the Star Beast, you have a newscaster there as well. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And the other thing I want to talk about, let me get it up. Where is it? There. So we finally had the reveal of the Series 1 to 4 Blu-ray box set. Artwork, obviously, we've covered this before. It's basically an upscaled 4K version of Series 1 to 4, you know, fully remastered all of this. And this is the cover art. It's essentially an expanded version of the cover art of the international Doctor Who Series 1 through 13 box set that the rest of the world is getting. I have to say, given the price, I was a little bit disappointed. I was kind of expecting them to maybe, you know, do some unique art. I'm just trying to see if I can find the other like collection, which is basically this, but includes all the other series as well. Yeah, I don't know. I was a bit like, oh, I would have liked some more unique art, but hey ho, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't think I pre-ordered this because I wanted to make sure, you know, I wanted to see what the quality was like. But I did get the 60th anniversary steelbook just as more of a like a historical thing, if anything. I feel like having those anniversaries all on steelbook with all those special features as well, it's gonna be pretty cool. So, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed by this, I have to say. But you know, it's not the end of the world, I suppose. Terry's gonna do Lego stop motion of the Star Beast. Speaking of that, actually, I wanted to talk about that. Are they going to put the upscaled versions on iPlayer? That's a good question. I'd assume that the versions of Series 4 we see in the 60th trailer are the upscaled versions, and I'd imagine if there are any flashbacks to Series 4 in the 60s battle, they'll probably use the upscaled version. I think that would make sense. But yeah, Darius, what do you think about the TARDIS controls from the Who spy images? Yeah, I mean, I quite like the blend of steampunk and also kind of that like retrofuturism alien kind of look as well. I kind of like the combination of those two things. It's one of those things where I kind of need to see the whole console before making my judgment, though. It physically hurts me that we aren't getting 4K Blu-rays of the 60s, but we are, though, aren't we? I thought that's what the Steelbook was. Am I wrong? Yeah, am I wrong? That's what I thought the please say America is in crisis again. That was gold. Okay. I'll do it again. Someone have to clip it and put it up on Twitter or something. America is in crisis. Will Doctor Who be on iPlayer earlier than TV ad time? I hope not, because that kind of annoyed me. I think that happened with like, I want to say it was Revolution of the Daleks that happened. I think where the episode came out on iPlayer before it aired, so people were just scrubbing to the end before people could watch it all. Yeah, there is a Theories Discord. I'm just terrible at promoting it. Nah, Doctor Who Steelbooks are ultra regular brewers. Oh, okay. Bernard Cribbins is on IMDb as the Star Beast. That's true, and I've seen some people mention that to me. Trouble with IMDb is, I think, I could be wrong, chat, you can correct me if I am. I believe IMDb is one of those things that can be updated by anyone, so I wouldn't necessarily take that as gospel. I personally am not convinced he's in it until like Special 3. I think he'll be in it, but I don't think he's in it to Special 3. I'd guess, possibly. Also, yeah, someone said that just saw this as well. There was a fan who met up with Tom Baker. Oh no, there was a picture of Tom Baker, sorry, taken at Brunch and Brew, Tenterden. Fans will be happy to recognise our fourth Doctor venturing somewhere for a nice drink and an adventure. Forever a timeless gem. It's absolutely wonderful to see Tom still doing well. I believe he's 89 now, isn't he? But he's officially retired. Much love to you, Tom. I would have loved to have met him, but obviously, of course, when it comes to conventions and stuff, I believe he's also retired from those. So, yeah, probably won't get my chance now, which is a shame, but one day maybe. Can one of the mods put the Theories Discord in the chat? Is that a possibility? I'm calling John Sitbig in one of the specials. I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought anyone could update IMDb. So yeah, I'm not taking that as gospel. But in terms of that, like, I think it's possible he could be in Star Beast, but really, I think they might save him for the final special. I've got a funny feeling because I don't really see him fitting into Wild Blue Yonder from what we've seen. I could be wrong on that. Like, again, I'm completely just guessing. And I actually don't know either. I won't know till the 23rd. I'm not sure if he will be in the Star Beast. But yeah, in terms of the Star Beast, actually, in terms of like sort of predictions, I haven't got a ton, but the couple I do have is I'm imagining the character of Fudge, who we know is still going to be in it. He won't be as pivotal to the story as he was in the comic version. In the comic version, he was like a school friend of the other protagonist, whose name I always forget. She actually goes on to be a companion to the Fourth Doctor in the comics. I can't remember her name now off the top of my head, but that role seems to have been replaced by Yasmin Finney, and I'd imagine, given the increased emphasis on Donna and the rest of the Noble clan, I'd be surprised if Fudge had as core of a role to the story as he did originally. I think it's more likely he might sort of end up in the Crossfire type thing. So I'm assuming he'll still be in it, but not to the same degree. I'm also kind of expecting Donna's memory to kind of get reactivated near the very end. My kind of guess is that because Russell T Davies has kind of been speaking about Wild Blue Yonder as the character episode between Donna and Doctor, right? Because obviously the Star Beast is a big action piece, and then the Giggle is the big finale. So Wild Blue Yonder is the character piece where they actually get to sit down and talk about things that happened. So that implies to me that possibly they won't have had much time to do that in the Star Beast initially. So I'm wondering if, here's what my sort of thinking is. Yasmin Finney's Rose is put under threat by a monster, more than likely Beat the Meat, because obviously if you read the comic, you know he's not as cute and innocent as he appears. But obviously, when it comes to Donna, I could see her memories reawakening as kind of a defense mechanism for her family, in much the same way as in End of Time, you kind of have that scene where she's under threat and then she explodes with all the energy, which takes out all of the masters as she's remembering. I think they could do a similar thing here. I think that would make sense. So that's my suggestion on how she gets her memories back. And again, I'm not expecting us to see the TARDIS until the very end. I think they'll save it till the very end, and you will end the final scene of the Star Beast with them going off in the TARDIS to the next episode, which is Wobbly Yonder. Perhaps even we have a scene of Donna reuniting with the TARDIS alongside the 14th Doctor, and then the TARDIS goes haywire and they get spun off into Wobbly Yonder for whatever adventure that ends up being, which we still don't know, which I'm incredibly excited for. Wobbly Yonder is probably the one I am most excited for, I will say. But those are kind of my predictions. Yeah, the server is very dead. I probably should promote it more, but I just forget. Mini episode, what we reckon we'll be seeing in it. I'm not expecting a ton, obviously. It's got like a 5-minute runtime. Apparently, people are saying it's like a Genesis of the Daleks prequel. So I'm going to assume like you might get some. I think you'll get a scene with a Dalek. I think maybe the Doctor accidentally lands in Skaro following the events of the comic, where spoilers, the fast return switch gets jammed after he's leaving a fake version of Skaro, and then he's like, "Oh, I hope I don't accidentally end up in Skaro again," which seems to be the kind of what they're going for, right? He accidentally ends up in Skaro again following Liberation of the Daleks. And then maybe he tries to either prevent the Daleks' existence again, or maybe he just tries to leave as soon as possible, but ends up getting caught into events. Apparently, there is a fully scored and FX scene, and it is going to be played serious, so I really don't know. I have a feeling Wobbly Yonder will be good. My kind of feeling on the episodes themselves is that, like, Star Beast is the family reintroduction one. It's going to be fun, light-hearted, you're going to get a lot of character moments, but generally it's going to be the more, the fun piece. The kind of soft reintroduction to Doctor Who for the audience, I think. Wildly Yonder, I think, is going to be, like, again, very character-driven, but a lot more, like, esoteric is probably the word I would use, a lot more out there. Essentially, kind of in a similar way to Rose at End of the World, but like to the nth degree, right? In that, like, the Star Beast acts as like the soft family introduction before we get into the wacky episode, like wacky stuff in episode 2. And in episode 3, I'm expecting big balls to the wall, Russell finale, everything's going wrong, the Toymaker is wreaking havoc. That's kind of my assessment of how these 3 specials are going to go. But yeah, I'm very interested in Wildly Yonder. Well, I'm interested in the Giggle as well, but I'm interested in Wildly Yonder specifically because Russell is very much, like, for me, one of his best pieces of work ever was Midnight. And Midnight was so good was because it was a very small location, a very confined location, very tight bunch of characters, and a really, really sort of scary monster that you don't see a ton, but who really leaves an impact. And I think if you can do something like that with Wobbly Yonder, I think we're on to a winner. Do you expect any cameos to happen? Not necessarily Doctors. Yeah, I don't necessarily think Doctors are happening. However, I think realistically, obviously we know Mel's in it. I have a funny feeling Susan might pop up either through like a memory or through like maybe the Toymaker tormenting the Doctor, as I've spoken about before. Because, as I've noted previously, Carol Ann Ford was the only one at the Star Wars premiere who has not been involved in something for the 60th. All the others did Tales of the TARDIS, and I think even Joe Wiley did the Doctor Who concert, which I actually watched all of, but it was very good on iPlayer. But yeah, she's the only one who's not done anything for the anniversary. So I think it would make sense for her to kind of have like like a sort of cameo, I think. But beyond that, I'm not expecting anyone else. Obviously, other than like Bernard Cribbins, for example. Well, Beyond will be my Joker. Yeah, I'm gonna be like that. You kind of just sort of trigger something in my brain now. I'm gonna be very curious to see, um, kind of just how well these specials do. I'm incredibly curious because I do not know remotely how to gauge viewing figures these days. I assume they'll do well though, because I mean, as I said, they've been um, they've been repeating these trailers on BBC1 like all the time. Apparently, I think Martha, Mel, and Susan will appear. Martha's not a bad shout. I could see that. She was actually at Unit, so yeah, I think that's a possibility. I think Martha has to come back in this era at some point. If she doesn't, it'll feel like a massive missed opportunity to me. Like, obviously, I'm not saying she has to. Russell can do whatever he wants. It's his show, but I do think it'd be a massive missed opportunity if she didn't come back. For me personally, I'd be like, oh man, you know, Martha's great. You know, there's so much to say there, I think. What's the deal with the lack of Bernard Cribbins in the promotional trailers and marketing? I think it's deliberate because I think they don't want to be seen as using, obviously, the image of a man who is sadly no longer with us to promote television. I think they might be thinking, oh, maybe that would be seen as a bit disrespectful. And I think as well, it does just kind of heighten the emotional impact when you see him. Obviously, I know we've seen him filming, but I think for a lot of people, I think that moment will be a lot more special when we don't necessarily know how it's going to play out. So yeah, for me, I think that's the reason. I think they just don't want to be seen as using it as a promotional thing. Do you know what I mean? How much do you think Shooty will be involved in the specials? He's either going to be, my prediction is, he's either going to be in a little bit of all three, kind of breaking through, and then have a big bit in like the third act of the Giggle, or he's just in the Giggle. Caroline Paul was at the Starbeast for a reason. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, why else would she be there, realistically? You know what I'm saying? It's fair enough. We don't know if there's been any private family requests. Yeah, that's another thing. They might just not want, him being used to promote it in that way, which I totally understand. I think it's totally fair. I don't think they've cut him. I think it was either David or Russell said they basically used everything they could use with him, and I think they'd want to keep Bernard Cribbins' final performance as that character. Can you maybe, before the Starbeast, post a Sonic review? In terms of the toy, I don't tend to do them mainly because I don't really have this the space to do like the whole Batman March toy reviews thing. I might do them one day, but it's not something I tend to do really. Although speaking of toys, I do sincerely hope we get some more character option stuff. I mean, come on, we got not 9 days, sorry. It's 9 days for me, but 11 days till the anniversary itself. I'm hoping that maybe on the 23rd they might reveal some more stuff. How much do you know about Wobbly Yonder? Honestly, very little. You sounded so English when you said in terms of the toys, Terry, you're un-Welsh. I don't think a lot of people say I don't sound Welsh remotely, but then I think sometimes it comes out with me with certain words more so than I think just like in general. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like my general speaking pattern, but like it's kind of a thing where I'll sort of sound like it occasionally. If he's ever land effectively, do you think we could be held some of the great episodes in New Who maybe in history? It's really hard to tell because, like, without having seen any of them, it's so difficult to know how like they're going to land, how they're going to be received. I'd like to think that obviously, I think Wild Blue Yonder, if it's handled right, could be seen as an all-time classic in particular. I don't see like Starbeast being really seen as like I see it being seen as really fun and good, but not like all-time like great status. You know what I mean? But yeah. Also, actually, speaking of Russell confirming things, this is another thing I want to talk about. You guys reminded me. Let me find it. Where is it? Where is it? I can't find it anymore. There we are. Yeah, so RTD actually confirmed via Instagram that because we've always had this kind of ongoing piece of speculation that, oh, do the Daleks have to appear every year or every series? Do they lose the rights if they don't? And someone asked that exact question on Instagram. They said they have to use them if they don't want to lose the rights. Russell C. Davies said, that's rubbish, sorry, completely untrue. So yeah, the sort of rumour that they have to use the Daleks once per year / series in order to keep the license has been definitively disproven, which I'm glad about, although it does kind of make me think, did they have to be there every year then? Like, can we not have just... Because, like, did they really need to be in Flux? Did they really need to be in Power of the Doctor? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, let them be more of an event. Let them be more impactful, is what I think. Obviously, I know Russell James said he's going to be giving the Daleks a break, only for him then to be like, oh, they're going to be in Children Indeed. But I still think we could be seeing a break for them in the main series. It's impossible to tell. But I am glad that that's definitively untrue, and that, let me get him up, this guy can show up basically whenever the BBC want him to, it seems. It doesn't have to show up just... oh, that's got in the way there. Yeah, when every year by requirement. So I'm glad of that. Who Culture and Theories crossover? What do you mean? Have they mentioned something? Have you talked about the McCann spin-off rumors? I have. That was... Which video was that? Oh yeah, it was 4 days ago. I talked about that. I talk about everything, man. If there's been a piece of Doctor Who news in the last few weeks especially, I've covered it. I promise you. Unless it's like something really, really minor. But generally... everyone knows Jodie didn't get a flight control TARDIS. Do you think we'll... So as in like a box? As in like the exterior box? Or like an interior one? I don't think we'll get like an interior playset. I think the money for that's probably dried up. I think we could get an updated 13 box toy, you know, maybe change some of the proportions if we're lucky, make it more accurate, maybe put some more lights in, put an interior card in. I think a version of that will happen. No, I know, that's why I'm wondering, did they have to do them every year? Like, they must have just wanted to. When I say the Who Spy TARDIS console, I died inside thinking about making it in Roblox, but I will look out for them on Twitter. Yeah, I'm sure you'll see. Probably won't be long now till you see the TARDIS. I'd say just give it another 11-ish days. I think you'll see it. Any news on the collab with Fortnite? Not that I've seen. But I think that's about everything I wanted to cover. So that's clocked us in at about an hour. So that's pretty good going. Thank you all for watching this. It's been fun doing live streams again. You will be seeing a few more from me in coming times. Apologies it's been so long. But hey, the internet didn't go out once, he says, as the internet then dies. But no, I think we're all good. But thank you very much for watching this stream. I very much appreciate it. Sorry to George, who I basically just streamed on top of. Apologies. I actually didn't mean to do that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you do, like if you enjoy. The 60th is so very close. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, take care, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Oh, that was the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Now that's the right button. Goodbye.